If you sit in front of a desk the entire day, it's very likely that your hips are very tight. Now we have to remember that the hip is a ball and socket joint. That means it can move in a rotational motion. And if we sit, we are stationary, and oftentimes we do a lot of hip flexor stretches, but that is only linear. So we need to stretch the muscles in and around the hip joint to target all of these areas and make sure that the hip can articulate very well in the joint. So follow me in this video to do a 5-minute quick hip mobility routine that will help you loosen up those hips. We are going to start with our first stretch, which is the groin stretch. You'll stay seated on the one leg and open up on the other side, roughly at a 45-degree angle. From here, you want to put your body weight onto the front leg. Try to keep the heel on the floor, otherwise move your foot a little bit more forward if it wants to lift off. And you're just going to do a dynamic movement into and out of this position. So over here, we're getting a nice internal rotation stretch on this hip, and some external rotation stretch on this side, as well as ankle mobility. And when we sit on the back foot, we also get a bit of ankle movement at the back. So you're going to do about 5 to 10 reps of that. Lean into that stretch. You can even keep this position for a little bit to really feel that stretch. And then you want to swap over to the other side by getting a bit of internal rotation, swapping over, and then you're repeating this on the other side. So you can see when I'm sitting back, I'm sitting on that foot to get a bit of stretch on that ankle as well. Leaning in and out of the stretch for about 5 to 10 repetitions. You can repeat this as many times as you like, obviously swapping in between onto the different sides. You can even do 1 repetitions in between like that. Good. Good. The next stretch, we want to do a pigeon stretch. So we want to stretch the glute. The easiest way is to put the front leg at 90 degrees and extend the back leg. So from here, you want to lean back to feel a nice stretch on the glute, up straight with the body. You'll feel a bit of a hip flexor stretch on this side, especially if you squeeze this glute, and then you'll feel a rotational stretch on the other hip. So this one we can either hold here for a static position or do a bit of dynamic stretching by lifting up onto the back toe and rocking forward and back. You can progress the stretch by leaning down on the elbows as well and trying to keep the back straight, holding the stretch for a little bit. Good. Let's repeat this on the other side. So leg up at 90 degrees. First sit upright, hold the stretch for a little bit. Feel that nice stretch on the hip flexor on this side and the glute on the opposite side. From here, you're going to lift the toe up, rock forward and back. And then you can also put the elbows on the floor to feel a bit of a deeper stretch on that glute. Right. For the next stretch, we want to work a bit into that hip flexor. So with your one leg in front of you, standing in a kneeling position, you want to reach back to stretch the hamstring, and as you come up, stretch into this hip flexor. You can even extend the arms up, back onto the hamstring, and inhale into the hip flexor. Let's do 5 of those. 2, 3, 4, and number 5. Good, let's repeat that on the other side. So other leg up, lean forward onto the hamstring, up into the hip flexor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good, and then my favorite for last, hip 90-90s. So start with your legs at 90 degrees. You can support with your hands and swap between the left and the right hand side. If this is very easy for you, you can do it without the hands as well. So keep the hands in the air and swap between the two legs. And then for the lunge, so as you go over one side 90-90, come up, stretch and open up that hip, onto the other side, come up, stretch and open up over there, one more on each side, to the left, and last time to the other side. Good.